All right, good afternoon, guys. Here's a quick update on the replicated helicopter system. So essentially, I've gone ahead and got a lot of things fixed, still working through commenting and some organization. But we have attributes now, and within our attributes, we can assign durability and fuel, and then based off our fuel, how quickly we drain our fuel. Um, Something I'm considering is based on throttle input, we can increase or decrease the fuel drain rate, whether we're at our baseline drain rate of 0.2 or if we're at full tilt throttle, maybe that goes to about 0.4. So something I'm kicking around, something that you'll be able to turn off within the configuration for the helicopter attributes. The weapons component is ah, 90% done, 80%. So I've got a lot of the configuration set up as far as visual effects, sockets. One big thing now is uh, depending on how many guns you want or rocket pods, you have this slider here, and you can go one or two. Those are the options you have. You can have one or two, unless you want to go and just write a bunch more code for no reason. And then this will also, depending on your selection here, will dictate the impacts and how many you're spawning and all of that stuff. So uh, this is done for the guns and for the rocket pods. And then your rocket class, you can have your own class here, or highly recommend using my base class that I'm making. And then if you want to add any functionality, you can add it within there. And then some speed, damage, all this stuff as far as the damage for the guns and rockets. Even on the rocket, that gets passed to the class upon firing, so you don't really set anything other than movement logic, and if you want to spawn, I don't know, whatever you want to do within the rocket, that's up to you. And then some visual effects for the muzzle. So when you're firing, I may add in a tail particle effect. So you can have smoke out the back and like a flash out the front for the rocket pod. So still kicking around thinking if I'm going to do that or not. I am on a bit of a time crunch to get this done, uh, but that's pretty much that wraps up a lot of the weapons configuration. You have your map here. You can set up. Right now, I just have rockets and guns. I'm going to add some more options here, and then you can do as you please with the map. Um, the mover is fairly organized. I need to go through and all these little tooltips. I'm going to go through and just finish adding out any tooltips that I missed, do some organization and cleanup. But this is mainly done, the biggest shift. So I'm using, I believe this is a Decagon asset. This is just, I'm testing things out. Um, so testing with this helicopter, futuristic Blackhawk variant. But what I've done is these are no longer parented to the main body, and so the reason for that is I ended up wanting to take this and I had to create an X forward variant of this, and then you can see I have I'm just using sockets, and so then within the configuration, if we go to class defaults, no, maybe it's probably on the mover. I don't even remember now. I gotta get better at this. No, it is definitely on the defaults in helicopter properties. Everything is just collapsed together. Okay, actually input actions we don't need. Where are my sockets? There are sockets. That's weapons. Huh. Is it not? I may be blind. I might just be completely missing it. Anywho, it's in here somewhere. That's helicopter properties, weapons, weapons, attributes. It's not that one. Because I collapsed that one, right? It's in the base pawn. Pretty sure. Or did I move it? Looking for, basically you have an F name that you set. No, that's the struct. So it's got to be in the pawn at the top here. Input actions. Oh, it is not. Okay. I'll find that. That's bugging me. So anyways, there's sockets, and based on the sockets, it does work. I gotta figure out where I move the logic to. These end up getting parented. Oh, now I know why. Okay, so here's something I was fighting. This actually reminded me. Um, and I'm gonna have to either find a way around this, but when I was trying to set the attachment, you can specify attachment at a socket name. I wanted the socket name to be a variable. It was fighting me on taking in an F name here, which doesn't make any sense. Um, so yeah, it's I'm gonna keep working and just double checking and see if it was a bug or something like that. But essentially, I want to move these to F names, and then you can specify the socket where it attaches. Right now, I'm just gonna have these hard coded here, and then I'll have some documentation so you know that on your mesh, if you're in your helicopter body, you need to make sure that you have a main rotor and a tail rotor, and then that'll allow you to set up um, your front and rear rotors. As far as weapons go, weapons are set up, and so you have any socket names you want to use for gun 1 or gun 2. Same with there, and then you just add those sockets in the static mesh, and then you're good to go. And then you can move the sockets around. It'll change where you do your muzzle flashes and start your spawning and traces and blah 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 blah. So that works for those. And then the biggest thing right now that's new is night vision. So we don't care about the materials. We don't care about that. That right here, night vision. So with night vision, um, I'm using some tester post-process materials. These I'll end up making some new ones, and then hopefully I can include those. They'll be a lot more simple. Um, so with these, you'll have the option between white hot, black hot, and then white and green false. And so you'll just have to come through here, and if you want to add your own post-process material for each one of those, you're more than welcome. But they'll be in order. I'm going to end up breaking each of these down into their categories so you know which one. I can't get tooltips on the row. I wish I could add. I got to look into like how you details attributes work, but I wish I could add like another header here, um, and that would be cool. So yeah, that's the biggest thing is night vision is now working. I've got a bunch of different variables for tracking what night vision mode you're in, whether the state of the system, the last IR mode you activated, the last thermal mode, and then whether you're in IR or thermal. So modes tracks white hot, black hot, um, green FOSS, white FOSS. It tracks those four. System is on or off, and then your last active modes for IR and for thermal, and then what type of night vision you're using, whether it's IR or thermal. So those are the big changes, and then of course it working. N turns the system on, and then H toggles black hot, white hot. Um, B toggles between thermal and IR, so now you can see we're in thermal, and then G will toggle green FOSS, white FOSS. I have some work to do on the materials, so you can see the positioning is off, but that is the premise, and then N to turn the system off again. We turn it on, it goes back into the last state. We toggle the thermal, we can turn it off, turn it back on, we're back into thermal. IR, on, off. So it's just tracking all the states that are appropriate. So that's the major updates. If we go ahead and hit T, we can start the helicopter. I'm going to move these bars. They're very much in the way currently. Oh yes, targeting is in the process. So right mouse button will now zoom in, and you go into first person. You can use your reticle, fire, switch to rockets, fire rockets, and that's the extent of uh, what we can do there. Let go right mouse button, we can go back to third. I'll probably end up making that a toggle to where you can just click it and it'll pull you in. And then yeah, the flight works perfectly. And we can hit control. Let's change to a better vision mode here, and we're going to snap to the ground because I haven't set up the landing. So we'll snap down, hit T, we've consumed fuel, and then power off.